right, here it is. Perry Miniatures Battle in a Box, American Civil War. This is something that Brian from Mini Warmut, the channel, suggested doing. He's actually doing a challenge for ACW, and I finally pulled the trigger and got this for myself. I know I'm working on the Epic version, Epic Warlord version of ACW, but I also wanted to get this kit. Got this on a very good deal from Amazon at 147 bucks. Not a bad way to get started in 28mm ACW. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this box around. So in this kit, you're going to get 145 infantry. You're going to get 1 farmhouse, 12 cavalry, over 4 feet of fencing, the snake fencing that is right here. You're also going to get 18 artillerymen, 4 guns, 2 generals, all the bases, Perry bases, obviously, and then the very simple firepower rules. I'll get you started in playing ACW, American Civil War. You also have a uniform guide and a flag sheet. So without further ado, let's go ahead and take a look at what's inside. All right, as indicated by the box, it is chock full of plastic. You're going to have a lot of stuff in here, but first off is your firepower game rules, war game rules. So it's not a very thick one, and this, if you're not going to use like black powder or anything like that, and you just want to play it out of the box, this might be a good way to go. In fact, even if you do play this, you can still use these for Warlord Games Black Powder. But it's nice that they actually included rules, and I believe that the rules were written by Alessio Cavatore, as well as the cooperation of the Perry brothers, obviously. So, yeah, Alessio Cavatore. So. Yep. All right, next you have your Union and Confederate flags. So these are great. It's always nice to get flags. Just make a photocopy of these, and then you can, you know, keep them without cutting out the flags from the paper. And the other side is the uniform guide. It's great that they break down the look of the Confederate troops and the Union troops. And it looks like they even have Zouaves in here. So, all right. And then finally, you have a ton of plastic. I'm going to make my way through this, and we're going to take a closer look and see what everything is. All right, first off are your bases. Here are your infantry bases. You're going to get 3 of those sprues, then your cavalry bases, and then your artillery bases, which you get 4 of. I don't know if I'm going to use these for these particular miniatures, because I will be playing these in black powder. However, it's always nice to have bases. They are just they're slightly a little larger than some of the comparable Warlord bases. I think these are 40 by 45s. For example, but they are usable in the event that you don't want to source bases from outside of this battle box. So there you are. It's also nice to have the artillery bases. So. All right, next up are 13 sprues of the Confederate Infantry. We're going to go ahead and take a closer look at one of them. There are 5 infantrymen per sprue. There's the torsos. You have a number of different types of hats. You have your rifles there and arms. So not a bad sprue. We'll take a closer look. Fairly well detailed. These are an older sprue. I think these are from 2012. But they still look pretty fantastic. All right, next up are your Confederate Command sprues. So you get 4 of these. We'll take a closer look at one. There are just 2 figures on the sprue. And you have different options here. You have an officer right here. You can tell by the long coat or longer coat. And then you can use this guy as a drummer or probably just another rifleman. So, all right, next up are the Union Infantry sprues. So you have 12 Union infantrymen per sprue. We'll take a closer look at one of them. So here are your main bodies. These are actually, so as you can tell, these are going to be simpler to put together because most of them actually have all of their components on there. You can do a little chopping here and there if you need to. The command is built into the sprue. As you can tell, there are arms for the flag bearer as well as the drum for the musician. And it's all right here. So a larger sprue, but again, they're fitting more infantry onto the sprue, including command, unlike the Confederate sprue, which had the command separate. And that makes up 48 Union infantry. All right, next up you get 4 sprues of Zouaves. So we'll take a closer look at one of them. The distinctive uniform of the Zouaves. So again, you get 6 per sprue, so that gives you 24 Zouaves. Rifles. The turbaned heads. Main torso. Next you have 2 sprues of Zouave Command. So, take a closer look. Alright, next up you have your cavalry sprues. There's 3 of them here. Makes up 12 cavalry. We'll take a closer look at one of them. As you can see, each half of the horse. And you have a number of different riders. You get them out with saber, with a bugle right there, one holding a pistol, carbines. Yeah. Let me zoom out, take a look at the entire sprue. So again, there's only like 4 riders per sprue. So, all right, next up are your artillery sprues. So you get 4 artillery pieces here with different barrels. We'll take a closer look at that. And then you get 6 crew per sprue. So we'll also take a closer look at that. All right, here's a closer look at the artillery sprue. Wheels, the carriage there, you have the bucket, and a number of different barrels depending on what caliber, I guess, of cannon that you're going to field. All right, and then next up is the artillery crew sprue. You get 6 crew per sprue, and obviously they are all serving a specific function for the artillery piece. All right, rounding out the box, you have 2 general sprues here. They're exactly the same. We'll take a closer look at one of them. So, even though they're exactly the same, you'll be basically making 1 Union general and 1 Confederate general, and you can base that could be based on how your general will look in terms of uniform. It's pretty similar. I guess maybe the hat might make a difference here. There does seem to be like a couple epaulets right here. So you even have a different head here with the kepi. So you can just cut that head off and give the general a kepi. So, all right, next up you get 4 sprues of the snake fencing. Now, I'm not quite sure if this actually adds up to 4 feet worth of snake fencing, but you know, I could be wrong. But obviously this is very simple, very easy assembly. Here's your snake fencing, and here are the, I guess, the mounds that these would mount to at every little intersection. So again, you get 4 of these. Whether or not it adds up to 4 feet, that is debatable, but if it says so in the box, it's probably true. So, all right. Last but not least is the biggest terrain feature in the box. You have your little farmhouse here. It's great that this is in plastic. It's very well detailed. You can see the slats on the walls, the bricks on the chimney, and then the tile on the roof here. So definitely gonna look like a simple assembly for this, and it's a nice little terrain piece that's period specific to American Civil War. Just get a few more of these along with the snake fencing. You can have a fully featured table. So, all right, and there you have it, Perry Miniatures Battle in the Box American Civil War. A great way to get into ACW miniature wargaming. These are 28 millimeter scale and comes with 170 figures. It's a lot in this box. I think the way they want you to have to break down the figures in this box is to split your cavalry so they have 6 on one side, 6 on the other. It looks like on the box that they want all the cavalry on the Confederate side, so I'm not sure if that's the case, but you can certainly do that. The Union, based on the amount of sprues there, are quite outnumbered by the Confederate Infantry, so it looks like they're going to have the Zouaves on the Union side. But obviously, based on how you want to do it, if you're going to use this as maybe just creating a Union army or creating a Confederate army, you could certainly just combine everything into either of those factions, or you can do a split of the Zouaves and the cavalry, but that'll leave the Union severely outnumbered against the Confederates. So I think this is a great box. It took me a long time to get into this, but I was watching Brian, aka Mini Warmut, and his challenge for ACW this month, and I had to get on board, especially since the cost of this box wasn't so bad. So anyway, that is it. If you liked this video, go ahead and click like. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I appreciate it if you would. Click the bell notification icon to get notified of all new unboxings coming out of the channel, and then click the link in the description below to join our Discord server. That is the best way I can personally interact with you. I can chit-chat you about Perry miniatures, American Civil War, and any other game or mini manufacturer that we cover on the channel. That's it. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more unboxing videos from More Gaming Noob Historical.